Yeah, that was one time.
So,
Good evening. On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Tarrant County, I would like to welcome you to this candidate forum for Saginaw City Council, places 1, 3, and 5. I am Mary Beth Garcia, the moderator. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization which works to promote political responsibility through informed and active participation of all citizens in their government. The League of Women Voters does not support or oppose any political party or any candidate. Out of respect for everyone here this evening, we ask that all cell phones be silenced. Questions to the candidates may be written on cards available at the entrance. If you have a card, please raise your hand and Pat, one of our helpers, will pick it up. Verbal questions from the audience will not be entertained, and we ask that the audience refrain from applauding until candidates have finished their closing statements. Tonight's event is a forum. It is not a debate, which means that each candidate will be asked questions pertaining to policies and positions, and their answers will be confined to their positions. Candidates may not address questions or remarks to other candidates and must refrain from personal remarks. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes for an opening statement, 1 minute to answer each question, and 3 minutes for a closing statement. Our timekeeper this evening is League member Aaron Merkel. The timekeeper will signal with a yellow card 30 seconds before the allotted time is up, and with a red card when time is up. In fairness to all, we ask that these limits be respected. For the unopposed candidate, she will be given 5 minutes to speak on policies and positions, but will not be able to answer any questions from the audience. The candidates for each place are seated in ballot order. At this time, I would like to introduce the candidates. For place 1, we have Charles Beasley, Larry Scheid, and Paul Valleggi. For place 3, we have Valerie Tankersley-Junkerfeld, who is unopposed. For place 5, we have Kate Johnson and Cindy Bighorse. Okay, and now we're going to begin with our questions. And Charles, we're going to start with you. Or actually, we're going to start with opening statements. Charles, if you would like to go first.
Mary Beth?
Yes.
Valerie?
Oh, I'm sorry. Valerie, we're going to, I apologize. Valerie, we're going to ask you actually to speak first for your 5 minutes. That's fine. You have a maximum amount of 5 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Valerie Junkersfeld. Good evening. My name is Valerie Junkersfeld, and I'm running for City Council, Place 3. I love Saginaw. I've been on the council for about 8 years.
Can't hear you.
get closer, Valerie.
Good evening. Can you hear me now? My name is Valerie Junkersfeld, and I'm running for City Council, Place 3. I love Saginaw. I love the citizens in Saginaw. I've been on the council for about 8 years now, and I like to work with citizens and their concerns in the city. I always wanted to make a difference, and so I wanted to try to make Saginaw a better, or not better, but a safer place to live and work in. And I want to thank everybody who has supported me for the last 8 years. Please know if I can help you with any city concerns, get hold of me at my daycare, my email, or call me, and I will try to do what I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. Okay, we'll now begin with opening statements. Charles, would you like to begin?
Hello. Hi, I'm Charles Beasley. I'm running for City Council, re-election for City Council, Place 1. I've been in Saginaw for about a little under 20 years. I've done a lot of volunteering since I've been here. I've done the Citizens Police Academy. I've spent almost 8 years on the Parks Board. So a lot of things, a lot of the park enhancements and things have been done over the last few years. I played a small part in that. It was just because I wanted to give back in some way to the city that has done so much for me and my family. I've raised my 3 daughters here. They went to the schools here, and After serving on the Parks Board for almost 8 years, I was approached to run for city council. So I ran for city council and was elected. I won by 1 vote, but I still won. And it's been a very big learning experience. I've learned a lot working on this council. I've met a lot of citizens in this beautiful city of ours. I've made a lot of relationships. So that's why I'm running for re-election, because I want to continue building on what I started doing for this city, and I want to continue that.
Thank you. Larry?
How you doing? My name is Larry Shy, and I'm from New York City. I've been here in Saginaw for 12 years. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I'm a 9/11 first responder, and I do a lot of volunteer work here in Saginaw. I've been with Saginaw Elementary for 13 years. I volunteer with the kids. Me and my wife is part of the PTA. I go up for the council PTA. I go to Austin every 2 years on behalf of our public school education and try our best to help our public schools out. So I like to give that a shot here in Saginaw. I'm a people person. I love talking to people. I like solving problems. The problem that was yesterday at the council meeting was we don't have enough lifeguards. And the biggest thing for us is that aqua center over there so people go swimming. So I did the initiative. I went out there, I went to every high school, all 3 high schools. The swimming coaches were great. They were excited. We got 4 people just today. So we're up to 20. We need 27 lifeguards. So these are the things I do. I think outside the box. I evaluate things, and this is what the things have to be done. But I'm glad to be here. I love this city. I've been here 12 years. I'm official Texas Yank. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to serve this community if you give me a shot. Thank you.
Paul?
Hi, I'm Paul Fliggy, another Texas Yank. I've been a resident of Saginaw for just shy of 22 years. Moved here from a suburb of Buffalo, New York in 2000. I'm a Culinary Institute graduate. I've got 18 plus years of volunteer service, of which the past 8 years I've been with Saginaw CERT and currently president. I was a volunteer fireman for 10 years, firefighter of the year. And in addition to that, I served as a board of director, treasurer, and the second assistant chief when I moved to Texas. I also have completed both levels of CPA, Citizens Police Academy, and I'm a member of the CPA Alumni Association. I participated in the Saginaw Summit in 2018. I helped last year organize a group called Preserve Park West when the rezoning came about on West McElroy for 166 rental units. Although we didn't get to defeat this project, we were able to keep the dead end on Westwood. We got the setbacks moved back further from the neighbor's yard, and we were able to get the brick and masonry, which is going to make Saginaw look a little better. Why I'm running, I feel a need to tap the brakes on rental apartments and zero lot line cottage-style apartments. More commercial opportunities such as restaurants, shopping, and other areas besides the Bailey Boswell Saginaw corridor. Improve the city infrastructure for adding more people and cars. Provide more transparency to the residents. I'd like to see us get, besides just advertising information in the Star Telegram, have information posted on our website. And lastly, I'm here to listen and be the voice of the residents of Saginaw.
Katie?
Can you hear me now? Better to check. So my name's Katie Johnson, and I'm running for place 5. I'm the newcomer to Saginaw as a resident, but I'm a born and bred Fort Worth, Texas girl. I went to Western Hills High School. My dad worked at TCLWV on Eagle Mountain Lake, so I have watched this town grow. I'm here because I want to remember the east side of Saginaw, on the other side of the tracks. It's where I live, and we get forgotten a lot. Everything seems to be over here. And I want people to remember that even if you've been here for many, many years or you're new, your voices still matter. I'll never make a promise that I'll do something for you, but I promise I'll listen, because I'm only going to be one person. I am a registered sanitarian, which is a fancy word for health inspector. and a code enforcement officer in another municipality, so I can see things from both the citizen and the municipality viewpoint. I can understand how budgets work and how comprehensive plans work because I work with them every single day. I've been on the Citizens Bond Committee. That was the first committee I was named to when I first got here, and I was really proud that those bonds passed because we need a new senior center, we need a new library, and I'm super, super proud of that. I'm excited for this to happen. I was a huge proponent of that library coming in. Our kids deserve that. I'm on the Parks Board right now. I'm an alternate, but the nice thing is the chair always makes sure our voices are heard. So I'm just here to listen and make sure you guys know that we're here for you, so please don't hesitate.
Hello, everybody. Please forgive my voice. Pollen. My name is Cindy Bighorse, and I'm running for re-election for the city of Saginaw, Place 5. I have served the city for 5 years, and I was told this job is 2 nights a month. And, well, you know, I think everybody up here can say you don't have to believe that because it is an everyday task. I spend a lot of time out talking with citizens when I'm grocery shopping or walking in the park. I want to be able to connect with the citizens. I want to be able to hear them, hear their concerns, and then bring those back to council so their voices can be heard. Like many of the other candidates up here, I've also served on several volunteer organizations, PTA. I've been a robotics engineering judge and referee. I'm currently a member of Saginaw CPA Alumni Association. I'm also a member of CERT. If you're not involved in those, you really need to seek those out. They're excellent. Saginaw, to me, is not just a place to lay your head at night. This is a home. It's a home for my family. My daughter, this is all she's ever known. We moved here 35 years ago. And Saginaw is the only place that she has ever known is her home. And when she has a family of her own, I want her to still be able to call Saginaw her home and a proud place to live. Thank you.
Valerie, if you want to stay up here, you're more than welcome to. If you want to move to the, okay. Wherever you're most comfortable. Okay. Okay, and now we're going to move on to questions. The responses are going to be done in rotating order, okay? So, Larry, we're going to start with you. You are only one of the 7 council members / mayor voting on resolutions. How will you work with the others on council to affect positive change?
What I would do is see what the resolution is, talk to each council member, figure out what's the right way, what's the right thing to do. And like I said, I'm a people person. I would just analyze everything, make sure everything is in order, and make sure we're not breaking any kind of rules, and just speak amongst all 7 of them as a team.
Excellent. Paul, same question. Yes, I can. You are only one of the 7 council members / mayor voting on resolutions. How will you work with the others on council to affect positive change?
Well, first of all, I have to be very careful that I don't violate the quorum rules that were brought up last night. But I'm very open to communication, talking to each person individually, and then also talking to the residents and researching what they want to do, what kind of change that they want to make, and make sure we do what's best for the city.
Katie?
Have to start with tough ones. Okay. The first thing I'd probably do is make sure I was listening to all the residents and what they were asking, and then bringing to the council my background, especially as a current municipal, public employee, and being able to see it from that side. Bring that in and say, okay, if we do this, this is what can happen. If we don't do this, this is what can happen. And using all of that background knowledge and even my training background to work together and find that solution. And it may not please everyone, but sometimes you can't.
Cindy?
One of the first things I do is I carefully read the resolutions, but then I try to do some additional research, locate any data that I can find to support that resolution. I listen to my fellow council members and hear what they have to say. You know, a lot of times my decisions have been swayed because they've had something more concrete, more positive, something I hadn't thought about. So that's important to make sure that we get all those opinions tied together and then come up with a viable decision.
Charles?
First of all, I think, you know, one of the key things is the relationships. We have to have relationships with everyone that's on that council, from the mayor to the other council members. So relationships is key to making those decisions. One of the other things is working with the city employees and the city manager and the city staff to understand those things. As I was the new person on the council, there was a lot about city government I did not know or had no clue about. And working with the city staff to understand these different things, and it helps. So, because there's a lot to learn in government. So I say relationships and working with the city staff, as well as listening to the residents on the particular items.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, Paul, you're going to answer this question next. What is the biggest issue facing Saginaw, in your opinion? And what are your suggestions to address this issue?
I would say the biggest issue or the biggest complaint I hear is traffic. We have bonds passed to get the roads fixed, get some things done, and we need to, if at all possible, ramp those projects up and get things moving and work on possible getting the lights synced on Saginaw Boulevard, because that is a huge bottleneck now for traffic on that.
Okay, thank you. Katie?
I'm gonna have to go with development because we have a lot of development coming into Saginaw, and I know a lot of people are not happy about it, and some people are happy about it. But I think that we can work together as a city to make the development adhere to what we would like and keep our identity as Saginaw. But we have to be willing to work together, and we have to be willing to talk to the residents, we have to talk to the developers, we have to work with the city workers. All of us have to work together. So I think development right now is our biggest one.
Cindy?
I also agree that traffic is the biggest concern that I hear from most of the citizens, and a lot of that is created by the development that's coming in. I have a feeling, or I get the feeling from talking to citizens that they don't expect the traffic to get better over time because of the developments that's coming in. Infrastructure needs to be taken care of. You know, we've had problems with electricity, with water, with sewage systems. You know, a lot of our things are getting old, so we need to take care of those here and do it wisely.
Charles?
I believe one of the big concerns we have in Saginaw is the growth. I mean, everybody wants to come live in this small little town, and Saginaw is not the small little town that it used to be. So with the growth comes all of those different issues with the infrastructure, the streets, more traffic, and all of those things. But we are working on them. I mean, Saginaw is working on getting those things taken care of. It takes time, it takes money, and there's a lot of processes to those things getting repaired, but it is working. It is going to happen. But the growth is going to happen as well.
Larry?
Yes.
Well, the big problem here is infrastructure, there's no doubt about it. As you know, there was a water main pipe broke on Opal Street. Saginaw is divided, I see, into like 4 different sections. You have the 60s, the 50s, the 70s, 80s. We got to look down the line at these older streets and these older water pipes. Not only that, we got to see about all these people that are moving in, our sewer system. Are we going to build new sewer systems for the amount of people that are coming in? So we got to repair 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the line for this infrastructure. Even though you see Boaz Road and you see Bailey Boswell, all those houses, we like those houses coming down and spending their tax. We make tax dollars on that, but how are we gonna do the traffic? That's our big thing. So infrastructure, water, sewage, that's something that we're gonna have to plan down the line here. So get prepared. Thank you.
Okay, next question is going to be, Katie, well, you will answer first. With the limited amount of open land remaining in Saginaw, what is your vision for the best use of these spaces?
I think the first thing we have to figure out is where the open land is that we have. Because the best use is gonna be a park. Some of them, the best use may be a community center or a church or an assembly hall. Some of them, it may be a small apartment or an age-restricted living facility. We could maybe look at a small emergency care, but there's no real easy answer for that because it depends on where that is. But I do think that parkland is definitely a big thing, and I'd like to expand the animal shelter a little bit.
Cindy? Vision of the spaces. We've taken 5 surveys in the last 4 years, and every time those surveys have revealed that we want a safe place to live, we want to have traffic moving in the city, we want family fun venues, sit-down restaurants, and green spaces. The first 2 are probably the most important to me, is a safe place to live and moving traffic through the city. And, you know, we're not going to make the tax dollars by having homes, rental homes for people. We're going to make money by having places where people come into our town, unique businesses where we attract folks to spend their money. Charles?
So, can you repeat the question?
Yes. With the limited amount of open land remaining in Saginaw, what is your vision for the best use of these spaces?
So this goes back to, we have an economic development team that's working day and night trying to get different businesses and family-friendly businesses and all these different things to come to Saginaw. It takes time. It takes 2 to 3 years. I don't know how long it took to get Applebee's here. I mean, it takes time to get those restaurants and those different places to come and commit to Saginaw. However, it's a process. So as we move forward, those places will come. I mean, but as families decide to sell their land, and we're working on getting those lands rezoned to be more inclusive of what the residents want in Saginaw.
Larry?
Okay, I think Saginaw is pretty much.
Yes, I know we're short a few police officers, and they're working on getting that through recruiting at the college. One of the things I'd like to see is research is the plate rating technology. Parkview Hills up here invested in it through their HOA, and it reads every license plate that comes in and out. And if there's a warrant or vehicle stolen, the police are notified immediately, and their crime rate has actually dropped quite a bit since they've done that. Also, I'd like to see the CPA get involved. North Richland Hills does it already, where they actually drive around at night, and they don't do law enforcement duties, but they're the eyes and ears and watch for crime and report to the police so that they can deter it.
Katie?
Well, I'm gonna have to sort of piggyback these guys, because we can always use more police officers, and we can always use more firefighters. But I think the part that everyone misses sometimes is the neighborhoods and the families. Because some of this is the families need to be more involved with their kids, and the parents need to be there. It takes a village. And if we're not watching our own children and helping them be there and do the right thing, or having our neighbors help, then what are we doing? I know in my neighborhood, we joke that I'm the neighborhood mom because I've been adopted by like 3 kids. But I always take care to look around my neighborhood and be involved with it. So I think we just need to get the residents more involved.
Thank you. Charles, the next question, you will start. How can the city of Saginaw improve their communication and engagement with the citizens of Saginaw?
I mean, first of all, I think the city does a very good job with keeping the citizens informed. I think, some citizens, I mean, they're not, computer savvy and things like that, so there's always room for improvement. I mean, I've heard people saying that we can post signs at lots where there's going to be a zoning change, and all of those things are good. But I think overall, as far as the Facebook, what the fire department is doing, the police department is doing, the city itself, as far as getting communication out there, I think they do a very good job.
Larry?
Yes, we have a little problem with communicating. I mean, we have garage gab, we have the council meetings, and how many people come? 5, 10 people? I think the way of the future is Zoom meetings. We should get people on Zoom that could actually question or have better ideas when you're at these meetings. I mean, we have 22,000 people in Saginaw and only 1,300 voted for this bond package. It seems like nobody cares here to vote. The biggest right that you have is to vote. And you have to listen to the people. So it's a small place, we gotta do Zoom meetings where we have people that could actually ask questions while they're in their house to the council members, because they might have good ideas. So that's what we have to do. We have to get out there and get the people to actually come and participate. This is their city. This city council spends our money.
Thank you.
Yeah, as I mentioned in my opening statement, one of the things I'd like to see is the city have meeting notices, notifications on their website. They do a great job with the council meeting, posting the agenda and the packet of information that's with it. But when there's a zoning change, if somebody's within 200 feet, they're notified. But other than that, people don't really know about it. And I'd like to see that published, and also the planning and zoning not only have the agenda, but have the packet of information so that the residents can see what's going on and what's being proposed.
Katie?
Communication can always be better. Pedro is doing a pretty good job, but he's new, and he'll get there. Yeah, I'm gonna call you out. We need to get the citizens involved, and one of the things we can maybe do is when we have events like 4th of July and Train and Grain, we have a booth set up with council or with the city where you can talk. We have the garage gabs. I know some of them were really well attended, and some of them weren't. But the biggest thing is the citizens need to not be afraid to voice their opinion, and they need to know that, yes, they may not get exactly what they want, but we will listen. And they can talk to us. And I think most people think that their voice doesn't matter, but it does. So it's just getting everybody involved, doing the garage gabs, and having a booth at an event. I mean, that's a great way to meet people. And get out there and come to these meetings, come to the board meetings, and talk to us.
Cindy? How can we improve communications in the city? I hear a lot of people express concerns over this. And I've also had similar concerns. We need more diversity in how we disseminate information. Sometimes I hear, well, it's in the newspaper, it's a public notice, or you'll find it on the website, or maybe it's on the Facebook page. Well, that's great, but we need to be able to spread it out across all 3 places. I know there's a lot of people who do not have internet or computers readily available to them. I also would like to see more communication from the city, transparency, about the citizen committees that we have. We have several of them inside our city limits. I want to see that the minutes, the agendas are posted so people do know what's going on. I'd like to see a more visible, hello Pedro, a more visible calendar of events. So people can see day to day what's happening in the city.
Okay. Larry, we're going to start back with you. Have you attended a concert in the park, a train and grain festival, the Saginaw Saturday Farmers Market, or a garage gab?
3 out of 4. I didn't do the garage gab, but I love the Train and Grain Festival. I bring my 5 grandkids there, and we have a ball. The farmers market is great food trucks. But this is a great thing that Saginaw does. This is what I love about this city. I mean, they just opened up a few days ago, and it's great. People came out. The fire department put on a great Easter egg hunt after 2 years, and you see the people that were out there. It's a great thing what they do to Saginaw and for the people of Saginaw, especially the children of Saginaw.
I've done 3 out of the 4. I haven't done the concerts in the park. I tried to take my dog down with my wife. The fireworks were good. This produce I grow frankly sucks, to be honest. Love fresh produce. And I love it. Really excited about the way the food truck park and everything has expanded. And hopefully I can make one of the concerts one of these days.
Katie?
I'm there 3 out of 4, haven't made a concert yet. Thursday night's a little rough, especially when you have to get up for it early than Fridays. The farmer's market is awesome and amazing. I especially love the idea that Community Link can help with the SNAP dollars with that and double them so that people can get fresh produce. I would like to see a few more produce stands out there, but Bree's Sweet Treats are amazing. If you haven't had them, try them. I love Train and Grain, and I hosted a garage gab in my neighborhood and was probably the #2 biggest one that we had. Partially because I hoofed it around my neighborhood and was like, hey, I'm getting them here, y'all need to come on. And it worked, but it's been a lot of fun here.
Cindy? I love these events. I like the fact that we're able to give back to the citizens. But like everybody else, I've done 3 out of 4. I've not made the concerts in the park because my husband is a magician and that's the night of his magic club meetings. And as president, you know, they kind of expect me to show up. I love that we do these things. The 4th of July fireworks, the Christmas parades. Those are all great ways that we give back to the citizens and just let them know how much we appreciate them. And I hope we can continue to do more.
Charles?
What was the fine?
Yeah. Have you attended a concert in the park, the Train and Grain Festival, the Saginaw Saturday Farmers Market, or a garage gap?
I've done all 4, plus the Christmas parade, the Easter egg hunt. I mean, there's pictures of me hanging out of Mrs. Valerie's Christmas parade float, waving at every single little kid out there. I've done the farmers market. I think it's the greatest thing we've done, one of the greatest things we've done. But the Train and Grain Festival, there was pictures of me on Facebook dancing out there with some of the residents out there. And that's another way that, if you look at the attendance we had at the Train and Grain Festival, that was communication. So people kind of come out and do and participate in what they want to participate in. But we had tons of people at the Train and Grain Festival. I handed out over 1,500 bags that day.
Okay. Next question, Paul, you're going to start. How do you feel city services offered by Saginaw compares to other cities? What can we do better to improve?
Frankly, I think we have a very good city staff. It kind of goes along with some of the discussions we've had with pay scales and stuff. I think we could need some more additional people to take care of our parks and things. But all in all, I think compared to most of the cities around, we do a pretty good job. But there's always room for improvement.
Katie?
I think overall with some of the big stuff like water and everything, we do really well. But I think in some areas like animal services, we really lack. And I think that we can do better. Especially now that we're handling Blue Mounds animal services, we can do better. And I would like to see a parks department because our parks are growing and it's really a lot for Public Works to handle. And I think a dedicated parks department can do a lot to help our parks get better. We're getting the new library, so I want Mondays, just so you know. But I'm super excited about the new library and the new senior center, but animals and parks, we can definitely improve, and I've got tons of ideas. I just don't know how to voice them quite yet.
Pardon me, I can't say enough positive things about our city staff. They are the cream of the crop, and you know, I appreciate every one of them, and I just don't ever tell them enough. I think our biggest problem is not the people themselves nearly as much as it is our ordinances. And I think our ordinances, and we've requested this on the work plan for this year, need to go under review. Some of them need to be updated, some of them need to be modified to be more friendly with the citizens.
Charles?
I need you to repeat that question.
Sure. How do you feel city services offered by Saginaw compared to other cities? What can we do better to improve?
I mean, I think Saginaw does a very good job. Like I said, I've been here 20 years and I've seen the city grow. I've seen the services grow. I've seen the police driving down my block, the fire department responding. So I think our city staff does a very good job. But it also comes with time. I mean, some of these things that are being requested or asked are in the process, but it takes time. It takes time, it takes money, funding of these different things. So we're moving in the right direction. I mean, it's just a matter of time and money and just getting it planned out and getting it put on the plan.
Larry?
I think the city services are doing a very good job. I see them out there. When that water leak was out there, they were on the spot. They did their job. They clean out the parks on Sunday when everybody has that party. The police, the firemen, they're doing their part. So I think, I mean, poor Rick over here with the bridge, I thought he would commit harry-carry for a minute there. I mean, he went through hell with that. So these guys are doing a great job here. I mean, it's a beautiful bridge. But anyway, thing I want the most for our city servants, fire, police, and the workers, maybe a little raise that they're appreciated. That's my thing.
Okay. Katie, you're going to start the next question. Saginaw Council is currently structured as at-large. In your opinion, should Saginaw change to a districting structure for citizen representation?
No, I don't think we need it. I think when you're dealing with a very large city like Arlington or Fort Worth or Dallas or Irving, you need districts because it's hard to have a really good voice for a section when you have 1 million or 2 million people. But I think in a city like Saginaw, we're still a small enough town that we can work with at large because then you don't have to worry about just talking to your council person. You can talk to anybody. And I think that's one of the ways we keep our small town feel.
Cindy?
Again, the quick answer is no, we should not change. Saginaw, square mile wise, is small enough that if I need to go talk to somebody on the other side of the tracks, it's, 15-minute drive. Unless you go down Saginaw Boulevard to 820 and then back up to Blooming. That may take a little longer. But everything is accessible here. I love the fact that the citizens are able to talk to any number of council members and get more than one opinion. And that's important. Because once again, this is about us serving the citizens and not the other way around.
Charles?
I say let's look at it. I mean, there's a possibility it could work. I mean, I don't know, but it could work. I mean, I don't get to see everybody in the city, and I don't go on, I mean, I'm out there and about, but, I mean, if I could represent a small group of Saginaw, that might work. I'm not sure. I just say, I mean, we can look at it. I think we should look at it.
Larry?
What was that question?
Sure. Saginaw Council is currently structured as at-large. In your opinion, should Saginaw change to a districting structure for citizen representation?
No, I think everything is fine. Like the city council does their job. I don't think we should change anything that's going on now. So I think we're in fine shape.
I'd like to leave it as large. I think it kind of unifies and keeps our small town community. If we were to separate and have districts, we'd have people competing for special projects, and we wouldn't be a unified group to get the job done.
Thank you. Okay. Cindy, you will be next for the next question. How do you propose to alleviate the shelter capacity issues and stray animals throughout the city? What is your position on trap, neuter, and release programs?
That's a very difficult question. Whatever size facility we build, it's always going to be full. Saginaw does everything they can to be a no-kill shelter. And that is absolutely probably the best thing that we can hope for. If we build in more spaces, we're going to have to deal with more animals. And the trap, neuter, and release program, I need to do some more investigation into that. I'm going to look at what it's going to cost the citizens to be able to do it. I have feral cats in my yard, and I don't want to release them back into my backyard. If we trap them, and just take them away someplace else.
Charles?
This has been coming up pretty often, and at first I was like, when I first saw the Saginaw the animal shelter, I was like, this thing is small, it's not good. I mean, we need to build a new one or a bigger one. But then, if we build a bigger one, we're going to get more animals, and overcrowding. Then we may have to start putting animals down. So it's a touchy subject. I'm seeing more feral cats in my neighborhood. I think Ms. Valerie is pushing them down from the daycare to me. I'm seeing more cats, but I mean, I think it's something that we need to look at, and I know the council is looking at that to come up with some ideas. And I know probably making that animal shelter bigger is one of them.
Larry?
Yeah, I think every city's having a problem. I know Fort Worth is overcrowded. They're euthanizing a lot of pets, dogs, and cats, and it's a shame that's happening, but people are just letting their animals go. And we used to have a great program here at the Chamber of Commerce where we had the truck come in and give cheap shots over there, and people would get their license. You would go around, and then you would get your license, and everybody was on board with that. And then all of a sudden it disappeared. The animal control had all control of that. But it's a touchy subject. I mean, it was funny when we had the pandemic, the shelters were empty. Now they're back full and overrun. So what could you do? Maybe bigger shelter, but you gotta have more animals. So that's a tough subject. It's something that they really have to discuss.
I'd like to see us at least improve our facilities, make it a little bit bigger, and then have something a little bit nicer. Some of the other shelters will have a nice area to, kind of a meet and greet area for the pets to kind of get acclimated with them. And that's something we're lacking. As far as the feral cat situation goes, I think a lot more research needs to be done. There's recommendations from Texas Wildlife and from bird people and everything, because they're finding that these cats, they think they're going to eat the rodents and things that are out there, but they also attack birds. So there's pros and cons to it. So some more research needs to be done on that. Again, the cost of it, who's going to pay for it?
Katie? Sure. How do you propose to alleviate the shelter capacity issue and stray animals throughout the city?
Talk about a loaded question. Obviously, the first answer is build a bigger shelter, but that's not the only answer. I think we need to look at partnering with Texas Coalition for Animal Protection, or TCAP, as most people know it. Try to get some spay and neuter programs in, low-cost shots. We can look at a Seniors for Seniors program for dogs and cats, where senior citizens can adopt senior animals over the age of 5 for free. A lot of times, that's a great companion for them, and they don't think about it, so you let them know that. When it comes to the shelter in general, I think we need to expand the space for outdoor areas, for the meet and greets, where people can bring their pets in neutral ground and have a meet and greet. Because the worst thing is to take a dog or cat home, and your dog or cat doesn't like it, and now you brought it back to the shelter. But spay and neuter is a huge, huge thing. I have no issues with trap, neuter, release. It has shown that those colonies do tend to keep new ones out, and then they no longer breed, so they do help. But of course, we can do research on it.
Okay, Charles, you're going to be up first for this question. What functions do the committees or boards perform for the city? What are your thoughts on how they could be improved?
Most of our boards, they just give the city council recommendations. Like I said, I was on the Parks Board for 8 years. I chaired it for 2, and we did a lot of, we just gave a lot of recommendations. So, what was the second part again?
What are your thoughts on how they could be improved?
I mean, I know the council, some of the council members now are working on revamping that in the way the alternates can get more input and get it out there more. I think that's one of the things, I found it in my water bill, 8 years ago. So, as far as the communication and letting residents know more, so we can get more applications and more qualified people can be on these boards to make better recommendations to the council.
Larry?
Yes, being part of diversity, inclusion, we came up with, like at the switch yards, different foods from different people, different races. That's a good way to come up with things, to meet people and to communicate with the boards. I think every committee should report to the council and give their ideas and what's the best way to go about it and what to do. The planning commission, they come up to the board, everybody comes to the board, but they gotta have plans and they gotta come out and see what they wanna do with it.
Paul? Sure. What functions do the committees or boards perform for the city? What are your thoughts on how they could be improved?
Okay, well, a lot of the committees, they do a lot to help make things better, but I think we need more transparency. Minutes from these groups need to be published so people know what's going on. But I'd also like to see term limits for some of these committees, because I've talked to several people that have expressed an interest on being on these committees. And we've had people that have been chairmen or on these boards for 8, 10, 12 years, and we need to get some fresh blood into these things.
Katie?
Well, I'm on the Parks Board, and I was on the Citizens Forum Committee. And I think the biggest thing they perform as a function is giving citizen input. But a lot of people don't realize that the boards are there, and they don't participate, and no one comes to the Parks Board meeting. I'll tell you that right now. And the citizens are asking why we asked for $4 million in the bond package. And the answer was, we don't know what we're gonna use it for yet, because we know the parks need help, but we don't know exactly where the best place to spend it is. No one has come to a board meeting to voice their opinion, except the Soccer Association. I think a Meet the Boards night would be awesome, so that people can understand what we do and know that those positions are there.
Cindy?
Well, I happen to be on that subcommittee that's reviewing the boards. These boards do bring a lot of ideas to the city council through the staff. They don't present to the city council directly, and I would like to see that be one of the major changes. A lot of the monies that support these boards come from the donations through your water bill for the library, the beautification committee, and the parks board. I would like to see more transparency with the budget especially for those 3 committees. And I think we need to advertise when these meetings are, so because they're open meetings, anybody can go to them. And the more we get the community involved, the better our city's going to be.
Okay. We're going to do, I think, 2 more questions for the panel, and then we'll have time for closing statements so that we can end at a reasonable hour. Okay, Larry, this one is going to be for you. How would you balance city services and amenities to tax revenue? Oh, sorry, Larry.
Do that again?
Sure. How would you balance city services and amenities to tax revenue?
That's a tough one. City amenities and tax revenue. Well, you know, we're getting a lot of tax, a lot of people are gonna move in, and we're gonna have to build more stuff for these people. So the amenities are gonna have to come in, and so the money is gonna be there for us. So we're gonna have a lot of property tax money for these amenities.
Well, we can't spend more than we're bringing in, and we can't keep raising taxes. There's a lot of people on limited incomes and everything, and that's why I think we need to get more commercial businesses to generate more sales tax, so it's not such a burden on our residents.
Katie?
It won't be easy. But I think start with having a priority list from the departments, from the citizens. So have each department, head, director, go through and say, these are my top priorities from greatest need to, yeah, I like this, but we can wait. And then also the citizens, again, we need the citizens to be involved. We need your input. Tell us what you want. We won't promise it, we can't. But we can certainly look at it. Department directors and chiefs, same thing. Tell me what you want, and we'll see what we can do. But it's never going to be an easy thing to do. We'll just have to do the best that we can with what we have.
Cindy? Balancing the budget is not an easy thing to do, even in our own personal lives. The revenues that come in go into different funds. We have general funds and enterprise funds, and those are specific for the uses within the city. We need to make sure that our infrastructure is sound. We need to make sure that we have the right sales tax base coming in, not just putting the burden on people with property tax. We need to, we do this all the time, and there's no real easy answer, but we do try to do the best we can and still make it an affordable place to live.
Charles?
Repeat that question.
Sure. How would you balance city services and amenities to tax revenue?
So, I learned a lot being on the city council. The tax dollars, how they come in, the different accounts they go in, what can be spent on what. I think I know we offer a lot of different services and amenities like the library. If you knew with this new library, some of the things that they are requesting and the citizens are requesting to be in that library and the cost that is going to come with that, the long-term funding of that with the fire department, as well as with the senior center. I think we need to give them some more money for their programs, but we have to look at everything as far as what's coming in, what can go out, and there's a ton of laws and rules around our spending and the way we do things. So, we just have to look at everything.
Okay. Last question, and Paul, you're going to start. How would you help to make Saginaw a more family-friendly / kid-friendly place and help set a foundation for future generations?
Well, as we talked before about getting some more family-friendly venues, but also we've got some great parks and stuff here. Start creating some family-friendly events. The concerts are nice. Start doing some movie nights or some different things in the park to get for people to do. And if we could get some businesses in here, indoor sports or some type of game facility or something, bowling, I think that would be huge for the city.
Katie?
An event venue would be awesome in a bowling alley. The only question I'm going to ask is where are we going to put it? Because that's a pretty big building, but it would be awesome. So it's something we can look at. I love the idea of movie nights in the park. I think the biggest thing is we need to let people know that our parks are here. And we need to look at what we can do with our baseball fields and softball fields and soccer fields to make them better so that kids have somewhere to play. I spoke to some of the residents in Highland Station area, and they were like, oh, I'd love to play tag or have kickball out here, or a dodgeball course. I think that'd be fun. But A lot of it's just talking and seeing, okay, what do your kids want to do and what do you want to see out here? But the possibilities are endless. But again, you guys, talk to us, please.
Cindy? Family fun venues are important, but one of the big things that we need to have is something that's unique, something that other cities don't have. I've talked with several people about the possibility of a miniature golf course, one that's designed to be like Saginaw. One course is trains, another one is grain elevators, go-kart tracks. You know, several people have asked about batting cages. Some place where families can go and be families, and I think that'll help alleviate a lot of the crime and things that we have those places here. But it's going to be very important that we're unique, so it does bring people into the city. Charles?
So yes, when I moved here, I mean, my kids were going to the library for fun. I didn't not that that's a bad thing. I didn't get it, but that's what they wanted to do because there wasn't much here. I mean, but now I think, you know, we've grown and some of our amenities have grown. We're doing our best, and I know the economic development team in Saginaw is working hard on trying to get some of these big ticket items here in Saginaw. I mean, but it takes time. If the growth isn't here, then why do they want to come here? Or why do they want to set up shop here? So all these things take time, but it is working. It is in the progress. We're making strides at getting there. I mean, there's going to be something here soon.
All right. What I see, we really don't have too many ballparks for our kids. You know, they go to that water over there at TRW. We're pretty much of a big city with no ballparks. We got no land for it. So that's out of the question. But what we got to do is send out a survey to these families that have kids. We got a beautiful senior center coming. We got a beautiful library. We got a dog park. We got to ask these middle-class families with 2 or 3 kids, send out a survey, see what they're looking for, see what they need in this city. That's what we got to do. We got to listen to the people of Saginaw. There's 22,000 people here, and it's time for them to chip in and find out what exactly we could do and what could be better for the kids. They built that playground and they came. It's always packed. Maybe we get another one. But for the children here, there's not much to do. I mean, there's only got one playground and one softball field.
Okay, at this time, each candidate is going to have 3 minutes, maximum 3 minutes, to give a closing statement. And Cindy, we're going to start with you and then work back.
Saginaw is my home. When I first came here, the entire city center is where the fire station now resides, on Saginaw Main. That was the library, city hall, the police station, and the fire station. The city has grown and has still been able to maintain its hometown feel. And that is something that's very unique to Saginaw. Neighbors still take care of neighbors. And I don't see that anyplace else. Neighbors still move into my street, and we take food over them to their houses when we welcome them into the neighborhood. I don't see that anyplace else. It's important to Saginaw, to her uniqueness, that we maintain this and as we move forward and grow. Katie?
We are trains and grain. That's what we're built on. Those grain silos have been here as long as I can remember. And I didn't grow up in Saginaw, but I got here as fast as I could. I am the newbie, but I want to make this my home, and I want it to be as great as it can be. We have an amazing 4th of July program coming that the Parks Board's been working really hard on, and I really hope to see everybody there. But I just want to do the best that I can for this city, for this town, for these residents, because I love my neighborhood, I love my neighbors, I love the friends I've made here. being on boards and feeling like I have a voice, because when you live in a really big city, you don't feel like you have a voice sometimes. And it's nice to feel like someone's listening. And I see so many good things here, and I just want to continue that.
If I'm elected, I plan to give 100% back, listen to the residents, and be their voice. There's a lot of neat things we can do in this town. As mentioned, I came from the suburb of Buffalo. Buffalo's got very challenging, they got a bunch of abandoned grain elevators, and they've got some really neat lakescapes and things like that they've done with it, and they really developed that area, and I think there's a lot of potential that can be done with Saginaw. Decided a couple of years, I thought about moving out into the country, and we decided to stay here in Saginaw. I plan to retire here and make this my forever home, and I just want to do the best for the residents, and anything I can do to help. And we'll continue volunteering as much as I do. I put in between 200 and 400 hours a year volunteering with service CPA.
Larry?
Yes, I love this city. I've been here 12 years. I've seen it grow. I'm from a big city. I'm from Manhattan. Moved here 12 years ago into a little city. I love the community. I love volunteering. I love the kids in Saginaw Elementary. I've been there 13 years volunteering. And I volunteer at my food bank for my church when it was open. So being old and a grandfather gives me a lot of time to do a volunteer work I couldn't do for my children. But being in this community, as small as it is, not as small, 22,000, but it is small compared to Manhattan. And I just love being here, and I'm a people person. I love going out there and talking. I love hearing people and their problems. And I think I would be good for the city council, being on and being a team member with the other ones. And this is the way it is. I love this city, and I'm gonna just be here. If you give me a shot to serve you, I'll be a good service here. Thank you.
So, you know, like some of the other members said, Saginaw is very unique. That was one of the reasons why, well, I didn't come here, my wife came here, but I mean, Saginaw has changed my life. I married my wife in Saginaw. My wedding reception was at the senior center, the log cabin. I've raised my kids here. All three of my daughters graduated from Saginaw High School. I've pastored a church here. They called me Pastor Cookie because I was out every time we had an event right in the Taco Casa parking lot for 8 years. I was out there cooking and running and serving people and chasing them down to give them a hot dog or a cold soda or something, just because that's my passion. You know, service is my passion. When I joined the city council, I had no idea the amount of work that it takes to run a city. And it takes a village. I mean, you think it takes a village to run a kid, it takes a village to run this city, because there are so many different things that's going on, so many laws, so many rules, so many do's and don'ts. I mean, we spent 40 minutes yesterday with the city attorney understanding the Open Meeting Act and everything we can and cannot do there. So there's just so many different things going. I mean, the growth is coming. Heck, my wife is upset that we live behind a Planet Fitness now, so she's not getting all of the sun on her swimming pool now. You know, but what can I do? What can we do if the people want to sell their land and somebody developer wants to build on it? There's not much we can do because of the different laws and the things that goes on in this city. So if I'm reelected, I plan to continue to learn, continue to listen to the residents, continue to work with the city council and the mayor to make the best decisions for Saginaw.
I forgot to say this in the beginning, that the City of Saginaw recorded this forum, and it will be posted in its entirety on the city website. Candidates may not use any portion of the recordings for political advertisement. Please remember that early voting begins Monday, April 25th. You can check the county website at tarrantcounty.com/elections for early voting sites. Remember that Tarrant County has voting centers, which means you may vote at any polling location. Election day is Saturday, May 7th. We invite you to visit vote411.org, which is a website by the League of Women Voters that has information about candidates for all elections. We also invite you to visit our website, lwvtarrantcounty.org, to learn more about the work we do in Tarrant County and how you can become a member to help. Thank you to all who came out this evening to hear your candidates, and thank you to the candidates for your participation this evening. The candidates will be available to speak with you personally if you wish after we adjourn. Good evening.